this came across my desk last week. Okay, I can't show you the full thing because it's the client's Q3 budget, but that doesn't matter. What does matter is something I noticed. Something that should honestly terrify anyone with a mid-level office job. The money for their support team and junior analysts, it's gone. But the company isn't spending less, that money just moved to a different line item on the spreadsheet. And I read recently that the IMF expects 40% of jobs to be exposed to AI. Now, I'm seeing it in real time. Exposed is not the right word. They aren't disappearing, they're being outsourced. And in the next 10 minutes or so, I'll show you where it's actually going and what's replacing those jobs. I've been building businesses since 2015, doing over 300K a month, and this is the biggest shift I've seen. Let's look at the numbers for a second. The IMF found that 40% of jobs globally are exposed to AI. In advanced economies, it's closer to 60%. And this isn't some outdated stat either. The World Economic Forum looked at it a bit differently. They're saying 92 million jobs get displaced by 2030, but 170 million new ones get created. So on paper, that sounds fine. More jobs created than lost, but here's the problem. The people losing those jobs can't just move into the new ones. A 50-year-old admin coordinator doesn't just become an AI engineer over a weekend. That gap is where most people lose everything. But it's also why the freelance market is currently exploding. And this is where it gets more interesting. There's a third number that almost nobody is connecting to this. Upwork released a report in April 2025. They found that 1 in 4 knowledge workers in the US are now freelancing. That's about 20 million people earning 1.5 trillion last year. But the part that matters for this video is this. AI-related freelance work grew 60% year over year. If jobs are being replaced, why is freelance AI work growing that fast? The traditional W2 job market is shrinking under that pressure. At the same time, the contractor market is absorbing that exact same work because that work didn't disappear, the budgets didn't disappear, they just moved. So now the question is, which roles are actually getting hit first? Because those big numbers don't really help you unless you know what's already bleeding. So there are 3 categories that I've been watching shrink month over month, and one of them might be yours. Tier 1 support is already gone. I've seen companies replace 700 agents with 1 voice assistant. Amazon just dropped 11,000 jobs. So if your job is turning it off and on again, you're competing with a tool that costs 10 cents on the dollar and never sleeps. AI agents and chatbots are eating that category faster than anything else I've seen. They're all sitting right at the top of the fastest declining roles list. Now, think about how a business looks at this. A junior support hire costs them $50,000 to $80,000 a year, fully loaded. An AI voice agent or chatbot handles 80% of tickets, costs a fraction of that. So what would you do if you were running that company? Then this one hurts the most because it kills the career ladder. I mean, why hire a grad for $60,000 to format Excel decks when the AI does it in a minute? Picture this for a second. You graduate, you land your first job. Most of the time, that means that you're sitting in front of Excel for 50 hours a week, formatting reports, pulling data, building decks, whatever it may be. And yes, you could be the one using AI to do this, but that means that they can do it without you. Not perfectly, not yet, and adoption is slow, but expect it to ramp up quickly. I mean, Goldman Sachs estimated up to 300 million jobs globally are exposed to AI automation. And where do you think companies cut first? The entry-level pipeline. That's where the risk is the lowest for them. Here's the interesting part though. Senior analysts still have jobs because they bring judgment, they bring relationships, and that's not something that AI can really replace yet. But if the entry-level roles disappear, what happens to the career ladder? Third category, admin and coordination roles. Executive assistants, scheduling coordinators, ops admin. The WEF flagged 26 million of these roles at risk by 2027. AI is brutally good at that kind of work already. Moving information, organizing it, doing it quickly. Now, if you're in category 1 of these 3 categories, go pull up your company's last earnings call, search for AI and headcount, and if they're publicly traded, what they're not saying out loud, they're definitely saying to their shareholders. Well, it is being reallocated to a very specific type of outside provider, and if you know how to be that provider, the apocalypse looks a lot more like a gold mine. Across a lot of the mid-sized companies that I've worked with this year, the same line item keeps showing up in the budget: AI implementation. You'd assume AI replaces 5 support reps, so the company hires 1 AI engineer to manage it all internally, but that's not what's happening. Here's why. Hiring an in-house AI specialist costs around $100,000 to $180,000 a year minimum. That's before benefits and everything else, and then you've got 6 to 18 months before they're really useful. So from a company's point of view, why take that risk? Instead, they go a very different route. They pay outside providers, agencies, freelancers, AI implementation firms. Imagine it like this. Instead of hiring 5 people internally, they take that same budget and turn it into a $4,000 to $15,000 per month retainer with 1 small external team. It's the same outcome they're getting. There's no training costs, no severance risk, no benefits, no office space. So what would you do if you were the CFO? Spend hundreds of thousands building a team, or just plug in something that already works? The easiest way to use AI is not to build it internally. It's to buy it as a service from someone who already has it working. While everybody looks at the layoffs, you can use this as a moment to find your own goldmine. So let me show you how. Grandview Research put out a number. The global AI market was sitting at $279 billion in 2024. They're projecting it hits $1.8 trillion by 2030, and that's a 549% increase in 6 years. Companies aren't writing new checks, they're moving existing ones. So every quarter, more of the budget that used to go to the people we hire to do this gets shifted to the provider who does this for us. Now, inside that 1.8 trillion, the fastest growing part is implementation. The actual AI tools, they're getting cheaper. ChatGPT, Claude, open source models, they're all sitting there accessible to anyone. So what are companies actually paying for? Time. They're paying for someone to take that tech and make it useful for their specific business. It's not the tool itself, it's not that they have it. The person who plugs it in and puts in the time, puts in the work to make it work is providing the value. And you're already seeing this in the market. AI consulting demand has grown 2 to 3x between 2022 and 2024 across firms like IBM, Accenture, PwC, TCS, and Capgemini. The gap between the technology existing and the businesses actually knowing how to use it. So the question is that gap actually there, or is everyone about to just figure this out internally? Picture this for a second. A managing partner, 6 senior attorneys, 15 junior attorneys, 8 paralegals, 10 support staff. Not one of them knows how to build an AI chatbot, but at the same time, they all want to be using AI because the firm down the street just announced their new AI intake system. Now clients are asking about it, so the managing partner walks in on a Monday morning and says, hey, get me AI. This is the gap. Every dental practice, every accounting firm, every real estate agency, every plumbing business, every B2B SaaS with under 100 employees, almost none of these businesses are going to do this internally. They don't have the time, they don't have the resources to hire somebody full-time internally, and it just makes more sense for them to outsource because it ends up cheaper for the same level of quality and the same outcome. They hired web designers in 2010, SEO agencies in 2015, paid ads agencies in 2020. So this is just the next version of that. So we had a call recently with the owner of a roofing company in Texas doing about $4 million a year. They found us through one of our Facebook ads, and they explained the problem in really simple terms. And that was that their team wasn't able to handle all of the calls coming in, especially after hours. So we agreed on a full AI agent build out. It would take a 3-month process and it would be $7,600. They sent the 50% deposit over wires for $3,800 that same afternoon. Done. And that exact conversation is happening in every industry right now. So now the question becomes, who's actually catching that money? While the news is shouting about the job apocalypse, the real story is that businesses are desperately trying to hand this money to anyone who can stand in that gap. And it's going to service providers. But that word gets misunderstood. When people hear service provider, they picture a developer deep in a basement writing Python scripts, someone coding, someone deep in cloud infrastructure, someone with a computer science degree, and that's not what this is. So what does it actually mean? A service provider in this market is the person sitting in the middle between the client and the technical work. You're the person that the business calls. Not because you speak code, you're just taking their mess and turning it into a clear project. You're providing the business with the outcome and you're managing the delivery of the service while someone else is doing the work. Here's the part that most people don't expect. That role often pays more than the technical role, especially when you own the system. Businesses don't know how to do this internally. They just want someone to come in and make it work. You're the person they call. And to make this more concrete, 3 services almost everyone everyone is selling right now in AI. AI voice agents, custom chatbots, workflow automations. A voice agent answers calls, qualifies leads, books appointments. A chatbot sits on a website or inbox and handles the questions a support team used to deal with. And a workflow automation connects all of the tools in the business together to automate all those tasks. Most people think, I can't do this, I'm not technical. And that's not really the bottleneck. The bottleneck is understanding what the client actually wants and making sure it gets delivered properly. You already have those skills from your job, whatever that job was. The 1.8 trillion budget migration is already happening. There's one specific type of business model built specifically to catch that flow, and that's the one that I used to quit my own job working minimum wage in a call center back in 2015. And it's the most overlooked model in the AI space right now, but I broke down how it works step by step in this video here, so check it out.